now, live from Oahu, Mike Taylor.
Well, here's the cool part about these early season games being at night. I'm in the hellscape. I don't move home until less than 2 weeks, but you boys have to stay up late. It's, God almighty, what is it here in the hell? It's 5:35 in the hellscape. How about that? I haven't even had dinner yet. I had coffee. I haven't even had I had a beer. But now we're on to this mug, and we'll be with you at least for an hour. I know it's late back home. I wish I were back home. I'm just kidding about it. I wish I were up late and with all you boys tonight in your euphoria and your drunken stupor, because your Cowboys continue to hang on. Cooper Rush continues to play well. He was even better than he was last week. CeeDee Lamb atoned for, 2 weeks and 2 quarters of not doing much. Defense was tremendous, once again stepping up for an ill Micah Parsons, who was still good in his own right. And in winning time, the backup quarterback, man, makes all the right plays, and the defense steps up against a New York team that is just okay. A team getting a little bit better, but they got a lot of weaknesses, and the Cowboys go into the Meadowlands tonight and exploit a lot of them with a, dare I say, hell of a coaching effort by both sides of the football, and the Cowboys win. They beat the Giants tonight 23-16. It is Overreact. My name is Mike Taylor in the hellscape. Back home in San Antonio is the Audio Disseminator Deluxe by day, Badass Cowboys postgame show by night. It is Samuel Ladon Freese. DJ LG is at the helm, keeping us on the broadcasting wonderment that is the interwebs of YouTube. And here we go. We're taking all your chat now. A lot of people are in here with their takes, and Twitter's blowing up, and the Cowboys win. And I guess we should lead with, should we just call him Crush? Let's just call him Crush. I don't see any reason why we need to call him Cooper. It's hard to be tough when your name's Cooper. He needs to just go with or C-Rush. C-Rush or Crush? Which one do you like?
The less syllables, the better. I feel like Crush. Like the one syllable. Just Crush. Yeah. Hey, man, we had all the faith in Crush.
I'm going to have a jersey made. Just put Crush on the back of it.
I think you should.
Know who it is.
I think you should. Yeah, thank you.
Only a super fan has Puma 69 jersey made for
only
him in the background.
The full evolution of fandom has the customized jersey with their name on it.
You know what? I'm so eaten up with ADHD. I never had a chance to get to this week on the radio show. I'll just get to it now. And I know it's gonna make me look weak sauce because I'm saying it after the fact. But I meant this at the time. So when we discussed it kind of when Jerry this week said he would welcome a controversy, he'd think it would be good. And his point was that means we're winning. I just want to win. Hell, I'd walk to New York if it meant we'd win. Remember that?
Oh, and so he's walking home.
Yeah, I guess he's going to walk home.
He's walking home, yeah.
And we all crushed his ass. I crushed him because he said that in public, because he does not care about room attitude. He doesn't care about clicks. He cares about what we think. He wants us to react to him, whether he makes himself look like an idiot or not. So was it ill-advised for him to say that publicly like that? Oh, doo-doo eating grin. Yeah, it was probably ill-advised. But you know what? I have mixed reactions on that, because that's just Jerry being Jerry. Just like Zeke was laughing about it. Oh, God, he's just all about the marketing. They don't give a shit what he says.
No.
And, okay, but at face value, I want to add an addendum to that. I didn't get a chance to finish that thought because we ran out of time, or I fired off the wrong audio or something. God only knows what sabotaged me this week, is that I agree with him. I love Dak Prescott, but if you told me, hey, Cooper Rush is the best guy for the gig and they'll win more games and have a better chance to win playoff games with Cooper Rush, I don't give a shit who his quarterback is. You know, I love my dad. I don't want my dad playing quarterback for the Cowboys. You know, I just want the best dude. Bottom line is, I just want to win. I don't give two S's who it is. I don't care if they bring the Antichrist himself in there. You stick a star on the sumbitch's helmet, I'm going to root for him, especially if he's good in winning time. I don't think Cooper Rush is the Antichrist, but I know this. He's the best damn backup quarterback they've ever had, probably. Maybe not talent-wise, but like I said last week, Puma, he knows the system. He's been there 4 years. He's getting playing time now. He's getting reps. He's taking advantage of it. No one's comparing him to Aaron Rodgers. No one's comparing him to Dak Prescott, although I know many of you are like, oh, maybe. No one, he's being who he is. He's handling the system. It's not like they set the world on fire. I damn near fell asleep in the third quarter. They went stagnant last week in the second and third quarters. He's just out there kind of managing clock. Don't F up. Run the system. Run the plays that are called. And then when we need you to, though, make the throws. And in back-to-back fourth quarters, in back-to-back winning times, when it came down to, okay, we can't drive, you can't just be bus driver here. We need you to make play for us and sustain drives and put us in field goal range and give us a chance to win. And when we need you to throw a sweet corner fade to CeeDee with the game on the line, go ahead and do that. And he's done it. He's been terrific. Statistically, he's the best damn backup they've ever had. Don't you have a stat, I think, that proves he's the greatest backup in the history of the National Football League through 3 games or whatever it is?
Yeah,
read the numbers you have.
This is where all stat that you can always find a stat that will support your narrative, and I fundamentally believe that. And
oh yeah,
and I know this is not a stat that obviously is meant to make you think that Cooper Rush is on the way to a Super Bowl. A Hall of Fame career. He's a 28-year-old backup quarterback, but no quarterback in their first 3 career starts has ever thrown for 200 yards, had a 90.0 passer rating or better, and won all the games.
You know what? It's funny because I jumped on Steve Young's ass this week. Dak needs to watch Cooper Rush tape.
Oh, he can learn
when Dak
Cooper
gets back.
Rush.
He can learn. I said Kellen Moore needs to call a better game. Kellen Moore is not going to sit up there and do the same things with Rush as he might do with Dak. Maybe Kellen Moore needs to wonder and reconsider how he manages Dak. Dak is going to start, maybe next week. You think Dak's ready to get back out there now?
Did you see him every time they cut to him on the sideline, he was giving us a "let's fucking go." Every time.
Yeah, my 10-year-old noticed the "let's fucking go."
LFG, baby.
He's like, Daddy, I think you said "let's effing go." And what'd I say? I think I said no. He said, "Let's." What do you say? We're having fun,
let's
yo.
Let's freaking go, yo.
We're having fun, yo. We're having fun, bro.
Oh, that's the Kids Bop version. That's the Nickelodeon broadcast version of what Dak was saying.
Yeah,
we need to have a side
bro.
conversation. I have for one of my notes here. We need to discuss the origin of the "let's fucking go." Like, when did that start? Because now
LFG.
It's
your
all
people
you see.
Or the Zoomers, or not
millennials. I think it's millennials. The roommate concurs because
that's you people.
All of a sudden, it's everybody. It's Brian Daboll. It's Dak Prescott. It's everyone that they zoom in on.
I'm guilty. I've written it on Twitter more than once at this point. What are you drinking with your what do you rosé. You have a 2,000-year-old chariot in there in the background with your mug?
When Cooper Rush is going for his 3rd straight win as a starting quarterback, you bust out the vintage. I don't know about you.
You're drinking out of a goblet in there. What are you doing?
Well, that's LG. Come on now. What do you think? You think LG drinks out of a paper cup in here? You can't be the trim flower unless you have fine.
It's like a prop from Ripley's Believe It or Not that they're getting ready to shut down downtown. You got drinking. Good Lord.
Ooh.
What is in it? What do you got?
Are
whiskey?
they doing a fire sale? I would love to go down there.
That would be kick ass.
Yeah, there's something I could buy. And just, could you imagine I just get some kind of wax figure and just put them right there in the entryway of the house? Yeah. That'd be a good look.
Let me restate this, and I don't want to offend you Catholics out there, which probably are most of you, because most of you.
Good Lord, distancing preemptively.
I don't care if the Antichrist himself comes in there and puts a helmet on. If he wins playoff games for Dallas in January, that's all I care about. Like Aikman pointed out today. I didn't know this. Aikman was saying tonight that they have the 8th best regular season record over the last 10 years in the NFL.
But doesn't that feel right? Doesn't that feel?
Yeah.
I believe it.
I didn't know it because they lose. They don't ever win any games that matter in the playoffs.
That's
but
Jerry's
Aikman
goal
had that tonight.
Jerry's goal is to make Week 17 every single year meaningful.
Sure, right.
And that gets you.
With him. I'm not with how he delivered the statement, but I'm with him on who cares. If he told me we'd beat New York and win playoff games, I'd walk my ass to New York. So would I. So would we all. This is not, I don't want to be like overly, I'm not a Dak homer. Now, granted, he helps keep my fandom for that damn thing going. But I just want to win playoff games and be entertained. If you're not going to win playoff games, entertain me, which they're great at. As you and I talked about today on our show, I got to be entertained. I got to be interested. So either entertain me or win a bunch of games that matter, or do both. If you're going to be boring, win a bunch of games that matter. If you're going to lose a bunch of playoff games or hardly ever go, then entertain me along the way. It'd be cool to get both of those, but the Cowboys deliver on at least one of those, and right now they're both entertaining and they're winning. Since the opening night debacle in which Dak was terrible and got hurt, and now they've followed it up with, and let's not that goofy. Cincinnati's a team finding itself, depleted by injuries.
Yeah,
New York is a team that sucked for 10 years, depleted by injuries. Sterling Shepard's career is probably over after that tonight. Golly.
But you're also talking about the defending AFC champion, and you're talking about a division opponent that was 2-0.
Sure.
And was one of the better teams at converting third downs this season.
Which is another reason why we cannot overreact to this, because even though our show's called that, because it's the NFL, man, and 26 of the 32 teams are the same effing team based on who's playing this week versus who's hurt versus who's got the better quarterback. That's how it goes. Only in the NFL can Cooper Rush come in, and the Cowboys, they can't lose anymore, and they play a bad Washington team next week. I said this today, and I'll stand by this. I think you agree. Now, they won't do it, probably. Dak had the stitch taken out of his thumb today. And if he can grip the ball and he can rip it by Wednesday, he's playing next week. I almost think you should stay with Cooper Rush because you've got a little bit of house money here. You're playing a bad team. I know it's the NFL. If you told me that Washington beats Dallas by 10 next week, I'd believe you because it's the stupid ass NFL. But I almost feel like you've bought yourself some time here. There's no reason to rush Dak. Has nothing to do with Dak not being the better quarterback.
Sure.
It's just about Cooper Rush is good enough. We can trust him. There's 14 more of these damn car wrecks that this team has to get in every week. I don't want to rush Dak back, but I'll bet you Dak plays next week. If he's 80% or better, I bet he goes. And and he's going to need time. He may be rusty, and y'all are going to be pissed off that Cooper Rush ain't out there.
No, that would be very Cowboys fan. I think the deciding factor for me is, even though we think Washington is going to end the season as one of the bad NFC teams, it's still a division game. And if Dak is healthy and says he's ready to go, and that could end up being a potential tiebreaker of an early season loss to Washington, I don't think you play it that cautious. Unless you have a Michael Gallup situation, as it turns out to be reported. It was Michael Gallup that said, hey, I don't feel 100% ready to go tonight. I know y'all flew me up here. I know I worked out the last 2 nights. I know I'm in full uniform, but I would like to take another week. And the Cowboys, to their credit, said, we'll give you that. We'll give Jalen Tolbert his first active game as an NFL player. And if it's Dak coming to them, especially since it's Dak, someone that, they had to basically take the ball away from last training camp because he was doing too much too fast and and injured himself in the process. If it's Dak coming to them and saying, hey, I need another week, then no question, go with Cooper Rush. But if Dak is confident, cleared to play medically, you win a division game and keep this momentum going. And you tell Cooper Rush, thank you for your service. Hey, we might need you again. You know what kind of history Dak has. Stay sharp.
Sure. And now, if it does happen again later on in the year and Dak gets hurt again, then the franchise won't deflate. Guys in the locker room, guys on the team won't be like, F, here we go again. This sucks. Our season's lost. No one's going to think that. In most cities in the NFL, your starter goes down, the whole locker room knows, well, let's just try to stay healthy, do what we can, earn our paycheck, be a professional, and knowing we're not going to win much games. Now, though, with the way Rush has played these 2 weeks, Cowboys players know that if Dak gets hurt, that's not the end of the world. And it's not like Dak's got Super Bowl championships underneath his belt either. So it's not the end of the world. It also means that later on in the year, if Dallas were to get hot and, maybe Jalen Hurts gets hurt, God only knows who's going to get hurt between now and the end of this damn season that's now 17 games long. Who's to say the Cowboys don't, get a 2 or 3 game lead in the division? And this is purely hypothetical. Point is, I'd almost be willing to bench Dak for a game later in the year, almost like a starting pitcher. There's so many games now. It's such a brutal sport. You look around this league, we talked about this earlier today. Half the teams in the league are now playing with 4 or 5 or more starters from opening night now out, if not for the season and then multiple weeks. You have a chance to say, you know what, Dak, it's week 15. No matter what we do this week, it's not going to have much of an impact. We need you for January. We're going to go with Rush and give you a rest. I don't know why NFL teams don't start doing that with their franchise quarterbacks. I would with Dallas. Dak's money's guaranteed. His job is guaranteed. This shows me that you can trust Rush now if something else happens to Dak. And it also tells me that if you feel like Dak's gassed or something later on in the year, or maybe like if you get a big lead in the game, you're not as hesitant to take him out and put Rush in. Let Rush get his damn Letterman's jacket. That's a long-winded way of me saying they got 2 quarterbacks, and that's good, who can compete in this league. What else? And I want to talk defense with you, too. I tweeted out tonight, shitty D Lamb. Shitty D Lamb. Then I followed that later on, about 30 minutes later, with pissed off D Lamb. Credit to CeeDee Lamb. He's been called out by the owner in public. He's not been worth a damn. He didn't do anything in the first half. Horrible drop, worst drop you could ever have. He didn't redeem himself as a number 1 wide receiver, which I hate that phrase. I hate the phrase number 1 wide receiver. I'm not even sure what that means. I think it's a cliche.
Yeah, there's only about 8 of them in the league anyway, and CeeDee's not one of them.
No, he's not. He's a pretty solid player who I never would have drafted in the first round, but they did, and that's fine. He's a solid wide receiver in a league who's been exposed with the Bama. Help me out. Cleveland kicking ass.
Amari Cooper. Yeah. No, it's the same way. And
he's been exposed as a wide receiver who can't carry a football team unless he's got help, and he's gotten no help in his defense. But tonight, though, he took over that drive on his own. He took that drive over. He got pissed. He got embarrassed, and he played like a baller in the fourth quarter. And so, Redemption City. He's not a number 1 receiver. He's still what he was, but he's not. He doesn't suck either. He's good.
No, it's. I mean, the same. You need to think. The universal. Think about number 1 wide receivers in the NFL as aces in baseball. You can be an ace for the Kansas City Royals, but you would be a number 4 starter for the Astros. I mean, that's what CeeDee Lamb is in terms of number 1 wide. He's their best option, and he is still their best offensive weapon, as he showed. Like you said, when he got pissed. I mean, even the roommate here, as we were watching the game, when CeeDee on that play before the touchdown, when he lowered his shoulder and instead of going out of bounds, ended up getting an extra 5-6 yards by just plowing through the guy and getting it all the way down to the 1.5-2 yard line. That was CeeDee being pissed. That was obviously I think if normal CeeDee would step out of bounds right there, but that was obviously, to me, a bit of attempt to make up for the drop. And then obviously, I mean, that back shoulder fade, Cooper Rush, that was damn near the same pass, the same game-winning pass he made to, who was that, Gallup? Was that Gallup last year in Minnesota when they won it on that back shoulder fade? Yeah, it was either Said or Gallup. But on that, shoulder fade in the back of the end zone in Minnesota last year, I mean, that was that same exact pass from Cooper Rush.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, what did we end up? 23-16? I mean, like I said on the show earlier, the Cowboys keep the Giants under 16, they win. I think Cooper Rush has shown he can win games that are in the 16 to 23 range. I mean, I don't think we haven't seen we obviously haven't seen the explosiveness of, winning a shootout, but he also hasn't been put in that position or been forced to do that because of how well this Cowboys defense is performing. And I mean, again, continuing to, end drives with field goal attempts or third down pressures, that is fastly becoming an identity of this team. I mean, tonight, even, what's his name? Wilson, the way he ran spy on Daniel Jones all night, and whether it was finishing off pressure that the D line created or, deflecting the pass on a third down attempt in the first half. I mean, the defense, DQ is continuing to find ways to maximize the strengths of his personnel. And I think you saw that tonight with Donovan Wilson with doing what he does best. Athletic spy across the middle that can, collapse the pocket if the other pressure arrives, or continue to eliminate those middle crosses, which the Giants offense feast off of, and which wasn't available a whole lot tonight. And that's a massive credit to the defensive game plan and, Dan Quinn's utilization of the personnel.
All right. I hope Pickleball Giant approved your background situation tonight.
What's wrong
I'm
with it?
assuming they did.
What's the problem?
To me, nothing. I'm just hoping that they approved it. That's all. I'm just saying. I think it's great. I
Okay.
have no problem with it.
Okay.
I'm leading into the live spot.
I see.
That studio there is our studio. Back home is brought to you by Pickleball Giant, the only exclusive pickleball store in town.
Oh, God. Look at those cat-like reflexes. Oh. LG's really shot our wheels off by running footage here. Oh. Oh, now he's gone. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, not only the only pickleball supplier, equipment supply chain in the city, but also have the actual. It reminds me of an old school 90s sporting goods store where you could actually
Nice
put the
whiff.
shoes on. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Thank you for leaving that in, LG.
We lost your mic there during that live, so you can start again.
Oh, you
if
lost
want.
mine? Oh,
Yeah.
check 1 2. Come in. Do you have me broadcasting?
I
Everything's
got
fine
you now.
here.
Yeah.
Don't do that to me, sir.
So
Um,
I don't
what
know
did-
how
what
much
did
of that
you
went
do?
over the air.
What
I don't
did
know.
you do?
Something happened.
Well, let me just say that they're the only exclusive, only pickleball store in town. It is the most rising sport in America. The data suggests all that. You see people playing pickleball all over here in the hellscape too. And the only place in town where it's exclusive pickleball, you can go somewhere else where they got like one little tiny shelf of stuff that probably don't fit your hands or feet or whatever. They got pickleball, everything at Pickleball Giant. It's 1604 and Rogers Ranch. And you saw there, you can go in there and they'll with it. It's like one of those golf stores. You can go in and work on your putt. You can go in there and literally play pickleball right there at Pickleball Giant, San Antonio, Texas. All right, you got into the defense. Let me pick up from there. After the Cowboys win tonight, 23-16. The dumbest thing I said today on the radio was not what so many of you are mad at me over. That was genius. The dumb thing that I said on the radio today was that I felt like the Cowboys were a vulnerable defense going into this game.
Huh.
Boy, that looked dumb. That looks dumb tonight. That was the dumbest thing I said all day today.
I think I remember someone else on the program espousing
already
nothing
said
but
this.
confidence.
You did. I thought New York would play better, but you mentioned Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn had a sensational game plan tonight. And I'm not going to sit up here and pretend that I know all this about coaching, watching games at my apartment, overseas. I'm not going to sit up here. I don't say that lightly. Whoa, this play calling tonight is amazing. I mean, we don't know jack shit about play calling. We don't know what goes on during the game. We don't know what's being said. We don't know who's hurt. We don't know who's feeling it. We don't know anything. But tonight, just from my watching on TV perspective, which I admit is an ignorant one, it appeared to me like New York was never in rhythm, save for a couple of street plays that Saquon Barkley made. This was a defense that blitzed when it had to. I'll say this: when they just everything they did, the timing worked out. That's the only way. I don't criticize play calling very often because I don't know crap about it. But what I can notice, and I think you'll agree, is everything Dallas seemed to do tonight when they decided to blitz was off, which was often. When they decided to play more coverage, which was not as often because they didn't have to, it worked. They either covered passes or they either pressured Jones. They pressured him all night. I think the last time I lost count at 22 pressures tonight in this game. They just dominated New York on defensively. I'm surprised New York was able to get 16. The Cowboys were great, and Dan Quinn, I'm assuming, is reason number one why it all worked just as a unit. And Micah Parsons was sick coming into the game. Probably played sick tonight, was not himself. He was gassed last week. I bet you that was the beginning. Now that I think about that, you remember he missed 2 series last week in the fourth quarter. He was probably feeling sick then, and so hopefully he's better now. And he was out there once again, all up in people's faces all night long. But credit to Tank Lawrence, who stepped up.
Gone way too long without mentioning.
I know, and I hope his foot's okay. He came back. I bet he's sore tomorrow. I hope it's nothing. And once the adrenaline wears off, I hope we don't find out he's got a broken toe or something. But
was that the surgically repaired foot?
I don't know. I don't know. Was it the left foot?
It was the left foot. I think it might have been.
I think he stubbed his toe on the replay. It looked like he stubbed it. But I don't know. He got to stretch something in there. It might be more. Maybe it's just a stub big toe. Maybe he stretched something. I don't know. But he came back into his credit. That was the guy who at 23 years old earned that big-ass contract they gave him 3 or 4 seasons ago. He was terrific, and they need that. He doesn't have to be DeMarcus Ware. Just go back to being DeMarcus Lawrence on occasion because we got a dude on the other side who's a monster. You just do what you do to help him a little bit, and you're going to get your numbers. And the Cowboys defense was such a beneficiary of having both those dudes on the field. That was as dominant as they've been in years with 2 guys on opposite ends of the defensive rush. And Daniel Jones he's beaten up tonight, and that's because of them two monsters on the end. They were great. Tank was awesome.
I would even throw in Dorrance Armstrong. I mean, because a lot of the times you saw Armstrong lined up on the outside of Micah Parsons because Micah Parsons embarrassed that right guard for the Giants so bad. I mean, he pushed him back 3 yards a couple times in a row, and then DQ seemed to stick with that alignment where it was Dorrance coming in, or it was Tank and Micah from the same side and pushing that kind of pressure. And the thing about Tank is the years where he has gotten national recognition have been the years where his sack numbers have been high. But his best career years, just in terms of impact and statistical performance, have been the years where his sack numbers haven't been as through the roof, but he is one of the in the past has been one of the 2 or 3 best run defenders at that offside defensive end position. And that's where Tank, first half, 5 tackles, 2 sacks. That was the pressure that he was getting there was more often than not generated by Micah or Dorrance Armstrong on that other side, and Tank was finishing it off. But the thing, even on that play where D-Law got hurt, I mean, that was him literally making, shoving Daniel Jones backwards, making contact with the quarterback on a halfback screen, and then chasing Saquon Barkley down 10 yards and making the tackle on the halfback screen. I mean, that's the kind of effort that hasn't always been there for Tank. That's the kind of motor that, that literally making contact with the quarterback 3 to 4 yards in the backfield and then chasing the running back down on a screen 10 yards downfield and not giving up on the play and making the tackle. That was specifically a play. I mean, obviously, like I said, ended up with 3 full sacks 3 solo sacks and 6-7 tackles after the injury limited by the injury, I should say. But that kind of effort is where Tank always seems to shine. Is the more of the, not just the initial quarterback pressures, but the end play tackles that he has made throughout his career, whether it be in the run game or, like I said, there in the screenplay. I mean, you have I hesitate to get too far ahead of it, but you have a defense that through 3 weeks and through the majority of an entire season last year, outside of maybe the first 5 or 6 weeks, you had a defense that routinely ended drives in their own territory by forcing field goals, by getting pressure on third down, by forcing turnovers. We saw Diggs get his first interception of the year. I think this is just more of the same from this defense. It's new pieces being rotated in alongside the state. LVE a couple times took bad angles on Daniel Jones tonight, but outside of that has had a solid season so far and has allowed them to run. Micah Parsons last week ran 62 out of the 67, 71 plays, something like that, at rush end. And tonight you saw him drop back a lot more in that secondary linebacker position and utilize that speed in the short, midfield short flats. And you saw Micah a lot of times being the final pressure from the linebacker position and not the end position that was forcing Daniel Jones to either throw the ball away or throw it earlier than he wanted to, or ending those, as we talked about, ending those run lanes where Daniel Jones is actually able to get yards. We saw him avoid multiple, it should have been even more sacks tonight if it wasn't for his ability to escape the pressure. And as many times as they did get to him, it was his pocket presence and ability to perceive the pressure that allowed him to escape as much as he did. It could have been a lot worse. The Cowboys were in the backfield that often on the defensive side of the ball.
And going back to the offensive side, Rush did not have Dalton Schultz at his disposal, who was declared inactive before the game. So he had a bunch of ne'er-do-wells out there. The kid they drafted from Wisconsin, they like him. He's talented. The entire Cowboys fan base probably cussed his ass out when he went out of bounds at the end of the game. So he'll be pissed about that.
Yeah,
but
he's a bad play.
They just don't have any real good tight ends just yet. Maybe this kid develops into something, but right now he's not Jake Ferguson. He's Turd Ferguson until further notice. And so credit Rush for not having that tight end safety valve. He's not very good. Not yet. Maybe he'll pick it up. So credit Rush for that. But
how about our boy?
Well, I'm not sure where you're going with this. I was about to make a point. You go first, and I'll see if that's the guy.
Hindershot.
They don't. The problem with him is they don't trust him enough to go to him enough.
No.
He's not going to get any looks.
But he did.
They're talented, but are they going to do anything in games that matter? I don't know if they're going to get a chance. He
did lead to Troy taking a pretty good shot at Indiana University football or University of Indiana football.
Yeah, they don't have much to be happy about.
Might as well celebrate.
Aikman knew right away. Oh man,
he backed it up fast.
Yeah,
he backed it up real fast.
No, I was going to say, there have been weeks where one of them looked good. There have been weeks where the other one looked good. Certainly one of them has looked better than the other for over a year now. It's been a minute since the Cowboys had both their running backs both have good nights. that, 'cause Zeke was more explosive tonight because he got so much rest. Pollard's just going to get his. I'm still not sure that I want Pollard out there getting 25 carries and we bench Zeke and he becomes just the part-timer. I still like how they're doing it. I don't love that you can't have Pollard on the field when the game's on the line because of lack of blocking. But Zeke had a good game and looked quicker off the ball tonight and he had that explosion. And if they're going to do that, if Zeke's going to hold up his end of the bargain, then maybe they can at some point say, yeah, we've got a pretty good little running back combo. I thought that duo tonight collectively was as good as the duo has been. It's not been Simon and Garfunkel. I don't know why I use that reference. It's only been Paul Simon. Pollard's Paul Simon, but Art hasn't had his voice in a year. But tonight, Art sang well, and they had sweet music together tonight. Go with it. It's late.
He's on a bender. Zeke's on a bender like Garfunkel used to be.
Yeah, he hit the notes. Zeke was good tonight, and that even when Dak gets back, if you got a running back combination that you can trust, and Zeke's not going to look fat and slow, that's just yet another thing that at least makes the defense think about it, and it makes it easier on the quarterback, no matter who's playing quarterback.
How much credit do you give to Jason Peters' impact rotating into that left guard position and lining up next to Tyler Smith? Because you said it. I mean, Pollard, first carry that Jason Peters was in there, Pollard goes for 46 yards on the left side as Tyler Smith and Jason Peters absolutely demolish the Giants' left side of the defensive line and open up a hole so big that, again, Pollard can almost cover damn near half the field. I mean, I think you saw a lot of what I'm really jazzed about the idea. Like, I have it marked, Farniok, like,
he's done.
Happy birthday, Matt Farniok. Today was your birthday. Your team won. But Bubba, you got a holding call that killed the first drive of the game. Your time is numbered. And I thought as soon as you saw Jason Peters start rotating in there, you started to see Peters be able to hold up the initial front of the defensive line that allowed Tyler Smith to fully pull and get out in front of the run game. Mm-hmm. I can think of 3 or 4 plays off the top of my head where Tyler Smith was leading the charge on a either off tackle or a toss sweep to either Pollard or Zeke, where Tyler Smith was able to show some of that athleticism and ability to outrun and get in front of a play like that led to him being a first-round draft pick. I mean, we still saw way too many penalties from him, and you're going to get that because he's a rookie starting at left tackle. But I thought I saw a lot of the flashes of athletic excellence that led to him being such a high draft pick. And you could just see, man, like 20, 30 more pounds on that frame, 2-3 more years of experience, more continuity with the offensive line group.
Upgrading talent can get for you. One play, it just stood out.
Yeah. I mean, literally, Jason Peters walks on the field and Tony Pollard runs for 46 yards to the left side, with Tyler Smith being able to fully release and get out in front of the play. I mean, it was that quick. It really was. And that's where I think, we talked about it earlier today on the terrestrial show. Jason Peters, I don't think is, even by week 12 or 13, I would be surprised if Peters is taking every snap at that left guard position. I think you're going to see a rotation with Farniok just purely for keeping Peters healthy and fresh. That's a 40-year-old man playing left guard. And I think you obviously, you instantly see the impact of what that kind of skill can bring to the offense, to the run game specifically. Because, pass game, that left side has issues. But the run game, they can maul people. If Jason Peters and Tyler Smith can get their hands on you, they can maul people to the point of getting, ripping off 10, 12, 46-yard gains, whatever it may be. But I think you're going similar to the way you describe the use of the quarterback in a 17-game season now, I think you're going to see more of a rotation with Peters and Farniok, where you probably get to the point of Peters starting in a couple weeks, but I think you still see Farniok a couple series a game, if not 3 or 4, just to keep the legs of Jason Peters fresh, because they don't have a better option. And what he can provide at that left guard position while Tyron is still out is exponentially more than Farniok has shown in his 1 year and 3 games so far.
All right, if you're watching, here's the part where I'm going to solicit you for money. I'm going to hold myself out. One of these days, I'll remember to not wear a black shirt so I don't look like a floating head.
Or a black
One of these
hat.
days. Or even a black hat.
Right.
My other hat is also black. I don't have a lot of colored shirts, man. I'll remember one of these days. So we'll read a few here, but this is also the part where I solicit money. Maybe with the funds we collect tonight, I'll go buy more red and blue and white shirts. I'm only got one post-game show left, and I'll be back home, so it won't matter. But then I'll be back here in November, so yeah, I should probably get some white shirts for then. This is the part where I solicit you for money. Subscribe to this show, but when you get in here, what is it? Smash that like button. Is that what the kids are supposed to say? Bruh. What is it? What is it? Smash the like button. Okay. What does it do? Or sit on the subscribe button.
Okay, that's who you need to be asking. Not
they watch
my
YouTube all day. That's
not
all
my
they do.
36-year-old millennial ass. Hit those Zoomers and see what they say.
What is it? What do I say?
Punch that like button in the face.
Punch that like button in the face.
I need that drop. I need that.
I'll get him the fake one for you. And while you're in there, jump into the super chat and you can tip this thing. Help pay for Boomba's doing a great job losing weight. He's quit eating and he still smokes like a supermodel, so he's looking good. Help him keep
It's amazing how quick it falls off.
The more you smoke, the skinnier and more pretty you get. Look at that. And we're always down for a tip or two on the super chat. You can also go to buymeacoffee.com/Mike Taylor Show. All right, we can read a few here. Sam, as long as we don't go out with Cowboys' girlfriend, we ought to be fine. Oh yeah, we're good.
No, that's correct.
Fine.
She's a once a week escort. You don't talk to her any of the other days of the week. It's once a week. She comes over Monday night, Sunday afternoons.
Right. I'm letting you comment on that because I'm in mixed company, as you just found out.
Ah, forget.
Yeah. Javier, how come you mad, Taylor? I thought it was touchdown Cowboys. I wasn't mad. I haven't been mad today. How'd I get mad?
Yeah, I mean, you've been mad
on
today,
the radio,
but not
I wasn't
tonight.
mad on this show. He must be talking about earlier. I'm all about being entertained. If you're not going to win playoff games, entertain me and keep my interest level up. If you're going to suck and you're going to be boring at the same time, then I'm not going to watch a lot of your games. I don't care what logo is on your shirt. I think maybe he's talking about what happened earlier.
That's what that feels like.
Yeah, Tom, as an Eagles fan, maybe I should be happy with sole possession of first place this week, but I would have preferred the Giants to win. We have to worry about Dallas more. I don't think it's just the media. I mean, for the last 2 weeks, it's been, is Jalen Hurts an MVP contender? Who gives a yes? Who cares? And the answer is no. No one's an MVP contender 3 weeks into the season. Tom Brady's the MVP of the league. That's it. Who have the Eagles played?
Yeah, Tom Brady.
It's the NFL.
Tom Brady was also 6-6 the year they won the Super Bowl 12 games into it. I mean, the NFL is that. The NFL is nothing but parody.
The Eagles could lose the next 5 weeks. It wouldn't shock anybody.
Daniel Jones started his career 2-0, as I learned tonight.
Hey, Daniel Jones is not terrible.
He's not terrible.
He's not terrible. He's all right.
Okay, would you? Since we're sticking in the division, now that's an interesting one. I was
going to say better backup than Cooper Rush. Yes.
I was gonna say, would you rather have Daniel Jones or Carson Wentz If you're a NFC East team, which do you rather have as your starting quarterback? I think
Wentz
so
is
too.
long top down.
I think so too.
Long top down.
Troy had a hard on for Danny Dimes tonight too.
Well, this goes back to what I said before week 1 when I told you, because you were telling me how I told you that I thought the division would improve, and I said Daniel Jones looks better to me. Of my summer camp analysis, all my sources told me that Daniel Jones was improved. It was addition by subtracting that ass bag Jason Garrett. Just that alone made him better, but he's a tough kid. He's clearly out there. He's studying. He's not like Kyler Murray, who won't study and plays video games and thinks you can just play Madden all week and that's how you game plan.
I mean,
Jones is out there running that offense, and he's a solid guy. He's not the reason they got beat tonight. He's far from it.
Danny Dimes is a Duke grad. He's not some, jag from OU that just gets taken number 1 because of Lincoln Riley. Like, I agree with you there.
Tyler's not a jag, but Daniel Jones isn't either.
I say that hyperbolically for sure. We agree. Just today, I want to make sure. Kyler Murray is my 11th ranked quarterback in the league, so we don't argue. I just want to make sure. No, as a connoisseur of Duke football, I could have. Daniel Jones has got a lot of this in him. He's going to run for 88 yards after he breaks through the middle, and you're going to be like, "Holy shit, this dude's way more athletic than I realized." He's got way more of he's got way more ability than I thought. And then all of a sudden he's going to just airmail a throw across the middle that is a wide open slant that goes to the strong safety. I think that's and that's where, jokingly comparing him to Cooper Rush, Cooper, I think, completely understands his physical limitations. And that's why when the drops like CD on that deep play hurt so much more, because Cooper knows, no, look, we just got the run to set up that play. We just got a 12-yard run on 3rd down. Mm-hmm. This is the time where we can strike deep on a 1st down attempt. And that's where specifically the missed big plays like that hurt the Cowboys more because of Cooper Rush's limitations. I mean, when Kellen, you even saw it on the reaction they showed. I mean, how many times do you literally see an offensive coordinator jump up and stomp his feet because a wide receiver drops the ball, but then he immediately turned to Cooper Rush and gave him a double thumbs up, like, no, good call, good decision, good play. Like, that's where we're going. That's where we should have gone with that. So, I mean, there's obviously, everyone understands the physical limitations of Cooper Rush. And when you have those misconnections like that, that stands out a lot more when you have a guy like even Daniel Jones tonight. I mean, you saw him be able to extend plays and get outside of the pocket way more than Cooper Rush is physically capable of doing. Sure. But that's where it goes back to that game plan of Kellen to strategically attack like that. And consequently, that's also what makes the CD drop so bad.
LG, how do I comment on chats? Can I comment on the chat myself? How do I do it?
You have to go to
it
depends on where you want to comment. No,
on the regular sidebar comments.
That's a combination of Facebook and YouTube, so you have to go either one of those. Don't worry about it. Open a browser and go to Facebook or YouTube.
Okay, I'll just say F you, Royce.
I'm
gonna read it only because he tipped us.
How you comment is by speaking into the microphone.
Oh, okay, thank you. Some are saying Mike isn't a true Spurs fan. Discuss. You know what? Lick. There you go. No, I'm not wearing black anymore. Lick that, Royce. Lick that right there. That's what you can put your mouth on.
A lot of people are saying. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying. A lot of people are saying.
Adrian, how desperate are Cowboys fans that a career backup quarterback that was not claimed off waivers and passed on by 30 other teams making their sports hurting his act up with pants? Hey, Adrian, they're 2-1. He's won 2 games in a row. He's looked good. I mean, God Almighty, I'm sorry.
How many fan bases got there?
No one's crowning nobody.
How many fan bases got sports hernias because of Ryan Fitzpatrick's performance as a backup? Like, we might be looking at the next Ryan Fitzpatrick with Cooper Rush. That might just be who he is.
Who's not a douchebag.
7, 8, 10 years.
He's a fine Midwestern guy. I know you hate him because of that, but I know you want to forget about it. You don't want to be reminded of it.
He won tonight. It's fine.
Fitzpatrick's an arrogant douche. What else? Dallas is so lucky to be playing the Commanders next week because Washington's awful and are a bunch of losers, and Carson Wentz is the worst quarterback in football who got his ass lit up the last 2 weeks. Cowboys will win. That's a disgruntled Washington fan, Tom, I guess.
You want
I'll be pissed if they lose, but it wouldn't shock me.
That's what I was about to say. I would say right now, 27-20, Commanders win.
I don't think
that's
any
the NFL.
Cowboy fan is arrogant. If they are, they're an idiot. Nobody should be. No Cowboy fans are arrogant for anything. Not any thinking Cowboy fan. No way, man. Let me say something else. This club does get very lucky, which is a requirement if you're going to win anything in this league. They get lucky on quarterbacks. They get lucky on. They didn't want Brett Maher anymore. They made no effort to re-sign him. Brought in some foreigner.
That's
some
not
other
true.
slap dick. No, that one idiot from Oslo or Croatia or wherever he was from.
Well, I mean,
they ran his ass out there 5 times this last 2 years, hoping he'll make
football
the team.
League player. I guess that's foreign. Yeah.
What in the hell? Running out foreigners, man, and then some other idiot. I don't want a foreigner kicking field goals. And so they're desperate. Neither one of them are worth the damn. And so they have to go, hey, I'm an American. All right. So they go bring back Brett Maher because they got no other options. And he's saving their ass. They've gotten super lucky on that. Crazy lucky. Super duper lucky. All right. That's it. That's all I got. We're going to do this again tomorrow night. You got some closing thoughts? She's got to take a leak.
Oh my God, she is bare. Well,
yeah, I had her hair cut.
What are we talking? She gonna bust a bladder in 90 seconds, or you got time for 5 more minutes?
Oh, we're good. You can go a couple more minutes.
All right. Coaches' interviews before the quarter. Have we talked about those yet?
Outlaw them right now. They're done.
That's a bad bit. The only reason they're doing that is because the NBA did it years ago, and it provides you. It provides you no service as an audience. Like, what is Mike McCarthy going to tell you after the first quarter of this game? Like, what is he going to tell the sideline reporter?
Nothing.
Like, that just 100% feels the only way. We were all sitting here riffing on it. The only reason, like, that feels like it has to be an NFL mandated thing, right? Like, hey, the NBA does this. We expect y'all to start doing this season. That feels like an extremely unnecessary gag.
That Brian Daboll's an overcusser.
Oh, I've got that. Okay. I've got that note. What was it?
By the way, that's the same guy that we all found out he was going to be the coach because Belichick got him confused with
quote
the other
unquote
Brian.
Got him confused. or Belichick was doing the ultimate long con and led to the Dolphins losing draft picks because he leaked the fact that he confused.
Yeah. And a 32-year-old kid that looks like me 10 years ago kicked his ass 2 weeks ago in Miami. How great is that?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Anyway,
no,
you were saying.
What was Dayball was bullshit, total bullshit, fucking bullshit. Yep. That was the
in that order.
Lip reading in that order. Yeah, because I don't like. What do you think I'm taking notes about throughout these games? It's literally it's the overcussing by head coaches and the lip reading. We got another Cowboy doctor appearance with his cowboy hat and cowboy boots.
Yeah, that's not the ghost of Jack Ruby. That's the Cowboys head doctor.
No, and he had the old school stethoscope and everything. LG commented like he needed to have the old, black medical bag that opens up like a purse. He just needs to go like fully embrace the bit. Go full 1880s Wild West doctor and just go full Kit Wanker on it. Just have fun with it. Let's see. Yeah, Cowboys doctor. Did you hear the Lion King audible?
What?
You didn't hear that? Okay. So
did we hear Lion King audible?
I can understand why you might not have heard it, because did you hear how shit the ESPN audio was all night? Where they were constantly having to dump audio so they don't get FCC fines because
all night.
Their crowd mic was hot as shit because it was picking up. Even the Day Bowl, it picked up the first two bullshits before he got to 3 and 4, and then they finally cut it. But no, there was at some point we couldn't make out whether it was the Giants offense calling a Lion King audible or the Cowboys defense calling a Lion King play, because Micah Parsons is nicknamed the Lion. So someone was keying on Micah. I couldn't tell if it was Daniel Jones making an offensive audible of Lion King.
Okay.
Because it was up at the line. Yeah. But I think it was a Giants audible, but it very well could have been a Cowboys defensive play call that just got picked up by the mic. But somebody was screaming Lion King about 3 or 4 times over and over in the second quarter. And then, the mic getting cut out, that was huge. Donovan Lewis. How about, this is something that, final point, something that you and I have talked about dating back to training camp this year. They hit us with the fun fact of 71% of the Cows roster is Cowboys draft picks. That's a great thing if you're hitting your draft picks, like Micah Parsons, like Trayvon Diggs, like Dak Prescott. Right, number 1 in the league. But it's also a team that just cut John Ridgeway last week, a 5th round draft pick from this summer, to make room for a 40-year-old lineman on their roster. So just don't immediately think because the percent is so high, it's necessarily an automatic good thing. That was, as soon as I heard that stat, I was thinking like, wow, 71% of this roster was draft picks? Interesting, because they still have $22 million in cap space that they didn't spend and bring in any other players.
And they're damn good at drafting backup quarterbacks.
Well, he was actually an undrafted free agent.
No, I know. He's a UDA. Yeah, he's okay. Well,
stands.
Romo, they're good at those too. He and Romo, the two greatest UDA quarterbacks of all time.
And that's my whole point of going back, like last week, where we talk about, do you give the Cowboys credit for finding undrafted gems?
They built this defense. Tyler Smith. They're going to have. If Jason Peters continues to play well. And that kid keeps doing a good job out there at left tackle. I don't know what they're going to do with Tyron Smith here week 11, 12 when he's ready to come back. If you're rolling and you have chemistry, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I'm not taking that young man off the field.
Outside of the penalties, Tyler Smith has lived up to a first round grade. He's been great.
They trained him at left guard all summer and then threw him out back to left tackle last minute. Yeah. He's the rookie of the year as far as I can tell. I doubt he'll win it because he always goes to a skill guy.
But
he's
still.
Kicking ass. Yeah. No one can. That's a harder position to have an impact in than any other position in the league as a rookie other than quarterback. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
And especially when you didn't even train there all summer. Yeah. They tried to teach you to be a left guard.
No,
go back to left tackle. My bad.
When they told you the left guard job was yours, they didn't even make him compete for that job. And he
thought about all summer was guard.
And that's I know it's a offensive lineman pulling against defensive backs, but one of those plays where Peter sealed the inside and Tyler Smith was able to release and get out in front of Zeke. You saw Tyler Smith clear out 3 defensive backs, literally take out the nickel corner, take out the defending corner, take out the safety, and then still be right there as Zeke was catching up to him and passing him. He connected with 3 defensive players and knocked them on their ass before Zeke passed him on the toss sweep. There's a lot there. But again, there's also there's the penalty. There's 2 false starts. So I mean, he was one of the most penalized players in all of college football last year. There's still that, but the athletic potential is absolutely there. And that's, I mean, how do you move him to right tackle, take Tyron back to left, you let Jason Peters play like but these are good problems to have because at this point you won another game and Tyron Smith looked like a starting level offensive lineman. That's a success.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Washington.
Shout out to Aaron Botello driving through Moab, Utah.
Hell yeah.
Watching us.
It's God's country. That's my favorite part of the country right there.
Part of the country. Imagine that.
What?
Imagine that. The whitest part of the country is your favorite part.
Okay, all right. And this jersey was given to me by a fan. I didn't create it myself. Sure. Natural Bridge, I mean, Natural Arts National Park is beautiful.
Can't wait for BYU to join the conference either. He's fired up.
I'm more of a Utah fan myself. I like my girlfriends to threaten to ignite nuclear reactors on campus if my college football team loses.
These sports nerds,
I like the unstable.
Old man Mike's dying to go to bed. Well, that's not.
Well, old man Mike.
Not that inaccurate. Now, I do have to get up at 5:30 because it's a school night. So I got to get up and drive literally across the island to go to school tomorrow and drop people off. So I guess we will bid you boys adieu.
Godspeed.
And we'll do this again mañana. You got to get home. It's late for you. Drive safely. You've been drinking booze out of a goblet all night.
I've got a DD off camera. You just can't see her.
All right. What is the what was one of the Indiana Jones movies? He was looking for some. Oh, was it not the Ark of the Covenant?
Do you mean?
The cup
there's a hand. You can see it. That's my designate. Wait,
I'm getting flipped off.
Hey! Come on now. You're supposed to show sobriety, not profanity.
She's hype. Tech had a great weekend. She's fine.
Everything runs through Lubbock.
Of course.
I think you're referencing the Holy Grail is what you're looking for.
That's what it is. My Bible's not so great, as you know.
No, you would not have survived as one of the last Crusaders.
There's some sort of cup. What do y'all drink out of?
I mean, I think Jesus served something. I don't know. I mean, it's important, I think.
Okay, it's what he drank out of during the Last Supper. Right? 200 for 200, Alex. What is the Last Supper?
I'll take ape tit for 400, Alex.
All right, that's it. I got to get people dinner and baths and then put them in bed. I love y'all, man. Thank you, boys. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, DJ LG.
Oh, I need that. I need thank you, Steph, to match thank you, Mike. Seriously, I'm pulling that.
Thank you, Thunderdome. Thanks, everybody. That was fun.
You chose poorly.
All right, we be done. We'll do this on the radio mañana, but you got all week to watch this. We'll do it again next Sunday, this show. What time's kickoff next week?
That's what I was about to ask you.
Noon?
LG, what time's kick?
Oh God, I'll panic.
I don't think we have a long enough outro song to look at noon. Right.
Okay, noon. Okay,
so
early bird. All right, we'll see you boys next week.
3:45.
Radio Mañana and Mike Taylor live back on Love You Hard TV Mañana too at 8:30. Love y'all. See ya. Peace out.
Overreact is brought to you by Pickleball Giant.